there, guys. I'm local fellow of the Backwoodsman Institute, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about squirrel hunting. About a month ago, I went back home, and I ended up getting a few squirrels, which you'll see in the rest of the video later on. But I'm going to be teaching you guys how to skin them out and how to process them. So it'll be a good time. You're going to learn a lot. So stay with me. Catch you in a bit. Okay, around my area, there's two different types of squirrels that are most prominent in that area. That is a gray squirrel and a fox squirrel. A gray squirrel, it stays into the timber, it stays into the deep woods, and therefore over time it adapted its gray color and its wide underbelly, because the trees in the deep woods are gray, like a grayish brown, so it adapted over time to camouflage itself in that area. The second type is a fox squirrel. It's a little bigger squirrel, and it stays in the sloughs and the fingers, and then on the edges of the timber, on the edges of the woods line, and it ventures off into the fields and into the cornfields and all that stuff. So that squirrel, it is a little bigger, but it has a brownish orangish coat and an orangish bottom to it, hence the name fox squirrel, like a red fox. But those are the two types of squirrels in my area, and in Indiana you can harvest either one of them. They both count as the same. There's not a different bag limit on either of them. They both count as a classification as a squirrel, a tree squirrel. So therefore they're the same in that matter. The season for squirrel hunting usually starts in most states in early fall, and it goes through midwinter. In Indiana it starts in August and it goes into January. But during that time frame, squirrels can have many different batches of kids during that time frame. It's not just like a doe with a really long gestation period, and it has one a year. Squirrels have a very short gestation period, and they have many batches of young ones throughout the year. But midsummer or mid-fall, like I said, is usually when it starts. That's when leaves are green. It's really hard to see in front of you. It's like a jungle in the woods. But during that time frame, it starts, and then a few weeks after that comes Labor Day. And to pick out where squirrels are at, you can scout them out, you can look for them, but the key things to look for are leaves that are moving and the wind's not blowing them, are moving erratically, like a squirrel jumping from tree to tree, because we all know squirrels move from tree to tree, and they also get down on the ground. They scatter around the ground looking for anything to eat. But key things, like I said, leaves moving erratically, not blown by the wind. Nuts falling. I have a 3 rule. If I'm squirrel hunting and I hear nuts falling, and if they fall 3 times in the same spot, I'm going to take a little more time and look up there, because believe it or not, there's a lot of squirrels in the woods. Even if you don't see them, even when you're out in the woods, they lay still. They don't have to jump on leaves. They're up there, though. I'll tell you what, they're up there. A lot of squirrels, they eat nuts, all kinds of nuts, like everyone knows, but they also eat bird eggs and actually baby birds if it comes down to it, if they get extremely hungry. But so nuts is their main intake. So the types of nuts that they like walnuts, hickory nuts, acorns from all types of oaks, beech nuts. They cut on poplar, and cutting is whenever they take that nut and they use their front teeth and they cut away the whole of the nut to get into the edible part on the inside. So that's another thing that'll tip you away, is cutting. It sounds like stuff's grinding on it sounds like teeth grinding. It's like that's all you hear the whole time. And if you hear that, it's very faint, and that's another key indicator that there's a squirrel around. Also, if you hear little bitty particles hit the ground, that's another thing. Maybe they're too high up out of earshot to hear just the grinding of the cutting on the nut holes, but you can hear the particles hit the ground around you. So that's another key indicator that there might be a squirrel.